Cassie Howard has 50,000 subscribers on OnlyFans. Nate Jacobs is on the floor of his own home, missing a finger. And Rue Bennett is buried in the ground up to her neck, screaming. This is Euphoria Season 3, Episode 5. And this is the episode where every character stops pretending they are in control. Let's start with Cassie because episode 5 opens with a scene that is either her greatest victory or the most public breakdown the show has ever staged, and it refuses to tell you which. Within 24 hours of Brandon Fontaine tagging her, she gained 17,000 new followers. By this episode, that number sits at 50,000, and Maddy is running her like a machine. ASMR videos, personalized roleplay, themed content, fart in a jar for $700, and Cassie says no one will know the difference anyway. She's not wrong. That's the problem. And then Cassie takes it further. She goes on podcast. She says things that feed algorithm. American men are treated like a second-class citizens, and the more the internet rages, the higher the follower count climbs. Maddy puts it simply, you know what's funny? The angrier these idiots get, the more money you make. Cassie is not promoting a belief, she is performing a character, and she has completely lost the ability to see the distance between the two. Because that is exactly when the episode literalizes the delusion. Cassie grows physically into a giantess 50 foot tall, stomping through downtown Los Angeles while helicopters try and fail to stop her. She presses her building-sized body against the window of a man watching her video inside his office. She shatters the glass, a helicopter pilot orders her to her knees, she brushes him past, walks to Hollywood sign, drops to the ground, thanks God while Los Angeles burned behind her. She knew this was her destiny. Rue narrates, to triumph, to conquer, to win, the world has hers. She had finally been unleashed. The show is referencing Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, a horror film about a woman who grows out of control, destroys everything around her and calls it power. This is not empowerment. This is pick-me evolution of Cassie Howard reaching its final form. She is not a person anymore. She is a content, and the machine just keeps running. Now let's talk about the person running that machine, because while Cassie believes she is the main character, Maddy has been quietly building something the audience almost missed. Brandon Fontaine tries to pull Cassie away. He tells her that Maddy is just an assistant, just another Hollywood lead. He promises a full content team, a TikTok house, the professional version of everything Maddy is offering her. Cassie listens and Cassie goes to Maddy's apartment to end things. She even catches Maddy in the lie about living in Dorvan building. The power feels like it has shifted completely. Maddy doesn't argue, she doesn't beg, she doesn't threaten, not directly. She picks up her phone, pretends to cancel Cassie's audition for LA Nights, the show Cassie has been dreaming about. The one that puts her in front of mainstream audience, not just an OnlyFans subscriber base. Cassie breaks in seconds, signs the contract, doesn't read a word of it. This is not Maddy who screamed in parking lot or scratched faces in hallways. That aggression has completely de-escalated, and what replaced it is far more dangerous. To Cassie, Maddy is her manager. To Brandon, Maddy is irrelevant. But in reality, Maddy now holds Cassie's entire career in a single unsigned piece of paper. And she didn't raise her voice once to get it. That's the Blair Waldorf energy in full effect. She no longer fights for control, she engineers it, and her growing relationship with Alamo, his infrastructure, his organization, is not just business conversation. It's the foundation of something much larger than managing one influencer's OnlyFans account. While Cassie is ascending, Nate Jacobs is being dismantled. Literally, Cassie has been wiring him $35,000 at a time. He's still not caught up. He's eating junk food in a house that used to feel like a fortress. And he is telling his wife, fully cooked, fully dependent, to keep magic, erotic content with another man because he needs the income. Then the door opens. One of Naz's men doesn't negotiate. He pins Nate down and cuts off his left hand ring finger. Adds it to the toe from last episode. The show frames the almost darkly comedical as Nate's scream. A little girl rides her bicycle past the front of the house. Life continuing unbothered. This is a man who walked into Maddy's bedroom holding a gun, who built his entire identity on being the most dangerous presence in any room he entered. He is now on the floor of his home. His survival depends on his wife's content revenue. And the people he owes money to are not interested in feelings or timelines or explanations. The world Nate used to control is now consuming him piece by piece. That's a cosmic punishment, and this episode doesn't flinch from showing you exactly what it looks like. Jules dropped out of art school. That's the headline, but it's not the story. The more important thing happening in episode 5 is what Jules says to Rue when they are alone together. You want me, make me yours. It sounds like vulnerability, it sounds like wanted, it is actually performance of want. Because here is the circular narrative the show is quietly building. Jules is not asking to be loved, she is asking to be chosen, urgently, desperately, because her current life is built on complete detachment. The luxury is real, the comfort is real, the meaning is not. The surgeon's jealousy over Rue's boxer is not about Rue, it's about Jules wanting someone, anyone, to prove that she is worth fighting for. That's the Cal pattern, not the person, but the dynamic, the power differential, the validation through desire. Her ego hasn't died, it's been starved, and now it reaches for one person who ever made Jules feel like the center of her own story, not an accessory to someone else. The glass house she is living in is beautiful and completely hollow, and she is starting to press her hands against the wall to see if anything will crack. If you are following the Euphoria Season 3 breakdown, everything is in the playlist. Every episode, every angle, link is in the description. Let's keep going. Let's talk about the most understated moment in this entire episode, because while everyone else is burning, Lexi Howard is the only quiet holding a match and doesn't even know it. Maddy does not ask Lexi to get Cassie an audition for LA Nights. She tells her, and Lexi caves. Because Maddy understands exactly how to apply pressure to someone whose entire identity is built on being the responsible, invisible one. Cassie shows up to the studio, blue marine butterfly top, reads her measurement, 37, 25, 37 into the camera, blows kisses, plays every stereotype she has been handed her whole life. And then she opens her mouth and speaks. The Antony and Cleopatra monologue. Cleopatra's defiance, and it is almost absolutely good. Lexi's bosses are laughing at Cassie and also writing her name on the shortlist. Sharon Stone's character, Patty Lance, turns to Lexi and says if she can do Shakespeare, she can do LA Nights. Cassie gets the part. She turns to Lexi immediately. I'm gonna be a household name. I'm not even gonna be able to walk down the street. And Lexi can barely form a sentence. Here is the dynamic this episode is exposing. Cassie lives out loud. She embraces herself. She falls. She picks up and keeps going. She takes up space with total shamelessness. And somehow it works. Lexi observes. She protects herself. She calculates, and she gets credit for nothing. The question the show is building toward: is Lexi a victim of Cassie's shadow? Or is she too afraid to step into a light of her own making? Because bitterness is not the same as having been wronged. Sometimes it's just the cost of never taking the risk. Everything else in this episode is loud. This storyline is quiet, and that is exactly why it is the most dangerous thing happening in episode 5. Rue is a DEA informant, and that was established last episode. But this episode is about the actual cost of being inside Alamo's world while secretly recording it. Bishop knows something is wrong. He has not accused Rue directly, but he tells her. Calm, methodical, and she gives him the heebie-jeebies. That ever since she came around, there has been a cascade of trouble. That certain people carry a curse. He doesn't have a name for what Rue is. He just knows she feels like a black cat. Then he puts on a Tyvek suit, duct tape, rope, electric handsaw into the bathroom where Big Eddie is bound and gagged. And by the next scene, Bishop is standing over a pig trough, watching. This is the scene that tells you everything about the world Rue stepped into. This is not street-level drug network. This is an organization with methods, with disposal protocol, and with someone like Bishop, calm, institutional, and efficient, running cleanup. And Rue has no poker face. The DEA call to Lori fails. She doesn't incriminate herself, but then Wayne, on the couch watching Pretty Woman with Faye, casually tells Rue she is their drug mule on a phone with the recording running. The wiretap is live. But from inside, every win creates a new risk. Because Magic finds the drugs Rue had hidden earlier. And now Alamo is watching her differently. Because inside a paranoid organization, you don't get the luxury of a bad day. Every mistake is a pattern. Every pattern is a suspicion. And every suspicion in this world ends with Bishop and a handsaw. This is how episode 5 ends. Bishop and G take Rue to an abandoned stretch of land. They hand her something to dig with. They wait while she digs into the earth, not quite a grave, but close enough, and they put her in it, up to her neck, head above the soil, nothing else. Back at the ranch, Maddy is having a business conversation with Alamo, organized, deliberate. She's selecting dancers, Magic and Kitty, positioning them within something that sits between entertainment and trafficking. Kitty is being moved, Magic, it is established, despises Rue. And then Alamo walks across the field, calmly, polo mallet in hand. Rue's head above the soil, screaming. The screen goes dark. This is not cliffhanger designed for suspense. This is a structural statement about where Rue actually stands in this world. She's not a player in Alamo's organization. She's not even a pawn. She is buried, and the people who put her there are conducting business meeting overhead, treating her survival as a detail to be decided later. She got inside. She established the wiretap. She played every move the DEA asked for. But from inside, there is no guarantee that anyone comes back out. That is the precise cost of episode 5. Every character moved forward, and every character is now standing at the edge of something they cannot control. Cassie is a machine the world is worshipping. Maddy is running the operation and building something none of them can see yet. Nate is being taken apart. Jules is reaching for the one thing she knows she shouldn't want. Lexi is watching everything and claiming nothing. And Rue is in the ground while Alamo makes his decision. Episode 6 breakdown is coming. Everything is in the Euphoria Season 3 playlist. Stay there. I'll see you in the next one.